Hello friends, welcome to Mr. Koko's Nurses class. So this period we'd like to look at IMCI, which is known as Integrated Management of Childhood Illnesses. So what happens here is that I know it may be very tricky for some to understand, but it's easy because there are just a few steps that you need to follow. So the notes can be bulky, or even the discussion can be bulky, but the things that you need to understand are just a few. So IMCI, like I said earlier, this is just integrated management of childhood illnesses. So this one, why it's there in our introduction, we're going to say why it's there. It's because we want to use what is known as the syndromic management approach. Under syndromic management, meaning that we just ask questions, we just use questions, or we ask questions and through our observation most of the times, and we don't usually use maybe the laboratory, but mostly we use just our eyes and questions. Okay, so what we see and what we ask, so that will lead us to the diagnosis. So that's the thing that we use. So for example, you're at a rural area, maybe say Rufunsa, and that in the deep maybe rural health center where you don't even have the lab. You can just simply ask questions and also use your observation to come up with the diagnosis. That's what it means by syndromic management, and that's what we use under IMCI. So this was developed way back in 92 there by WHO, and it looks at which age group. So it has to be 5 years old. Okay, so those under 5, those are the ones that are benefiting from IMCI. So it's not every child, but those children under 5 years of age. So those are the ones that we really look at. Okay, and then when you look at this IMCI, we're saying that by definition, let's look at the definition. So if you look at the definition of IMCI, we're saying that it's a systematic approach to children, okay, of children's health, which focuses on the whole child. Okay, so it's a systematic approach to children's health, which focuses on the whole child. So we look at the whole child, but then we have specified to say that IMCI does not look at every child, or every, all the age groups, or you can say children in general. No, it has a specific age group. So meaning that it has to start from 1 week to 5 years. So that's the age group. Not every child, but at least 1 week to 5 years. So that's what it does. So even the guidelines, if you check, we're just looking at 1 week to 5 years. That's the thing that we look at. Okay, and then if we look at our aims, what do we aim at doing when we're using IMCI? So IMCI will just reduce the illnesses and the deaths, the disabilities, and also to promote what we call improved growth and development in children. The age still remains age of 5 years, up to the age of 5 years, or under 5. That's what we do here. Then let's look at the components. What will you find in IMCI? Okay, so under IMCI, we're just saying that we're looking at improving the case management, okay, of those maybe say the health workers. The health workers should be able to use these two to improve the management of these children. Then it also helps us to improve the healthcare system and delivery, and also improvement in the health in the family and community. Those are the components. Then what about when we talk about the principles? So these are just things that we look at. When we look at principles, the rules that we follow when handling IMCI. So these will show you the diagram where we have these principles summarized, and obviously be able to understand. Then all sick children, maybe say up to 2 months, those from 1 week to 2 months, we just check mostly for possible serious bacterial infection. That's the focus. Then what about those who are 2 months to 5 years? What do? We examine them for general danger signs. Okay, so that's the difference. For those 1 week to 2 months, it's possible bacterial infections. Those 2 months to 5 years, we focus on the general danger signs. So you see the difference and you'll be able to understand what we mean by general danger signs. Okay, so let's go through this, but then the principles, what we mean is that what are the rules that we're going to follow. So I'm going to take you through what we should be able to follow. What are the steps so that you're able to really do this IMCI properly? So that's the principle. So the first thing that you do in this is assessment. That's the thing. Okay, assessment. Once you make an assessment will be made through using your eyes and through asking questions. So those two things, you ask, you also look. Okay, that's what you do. Okay, you're going to use your eyes, you're also going to use the principle of questioning. So after you question, the next thing that you do, you discover that, oh, this child, I've asked questions, I've looked, and then what is it that they are suffering from? Meaning that what's your diagnosis? And that brings us to what we call classifications. So meaning when you classify, meaning that you've done your diagnosis, meaning that's your diagnosis. After you assess, you classify, meaning that's your diagnosis. Meaning that, for example, just in layman terms, it's okay, the problem here is flu. Meaning under classification, you've come up with the problem the child is having. You say, okay, the child is having a flu, or the child is having a cough, or the child is having malaria. Meaning that that's your classification, meaning you've done your questioning, you have checked with your eyes, now you've said, okay, this problem the child is having is a cough. So that's what we do under classification, just have to diagnose. Okay, that's the thing. So it's not even difficult there. So after assessment, then you classify. What do you do? Meaning that you have come up, under classification, you've come up with a problem. It's malaria. So what do you do next? You give drugs, what we call essential drugs. So that's under principles. You just give drugs. So this is what you're going to be doing over and over. So after you assess, you come up with the classification, meaning that you come up with the problem the child is having. Give drugs. After give drugs, some might not even need drugs. You go to the next step, which is counseling. You counsel. If it's malaria, you need to counsel accordingly. Oh, what is causing malaria is this and that and all that. So you need to counsel. So these are the principles that we do. Okay, so those who keep repeating them. Okay, so let's go now to the next thing. This is very important, where we're saying common causes of diseases among children below the age of 5. So common diseases. So the common diseases, when we say common diseases, this is just general language. But when we talk about IMCI, what language are we going to be using to mean disease? So to mean disease in IMCI, we'll use a word which we're going to say main symptom. So mark that one down. In IMCI, instead of using the word disease, we'll use instead to say main symptom. So here under this page, we are saying that the diseases that affect those below the age of 5 mostly are acute respiratory infections. Mostly we say pneumonia. Okay? There can be pneumonia, there can be diarrhea, measles, malaria, malnutrition, anemia, HIV, ear infection. So these are the diseases that affect those. Then in IMCI, we're going to ask you to say main symptoms, meaning that we're going to even ask a question to say, write or list 5 main symptoms. So you're not going to get confused. When they say list the 5 main symptoms, that's sometimes in the essay questions you'll find such a question to say list 5 main symptoms. Just pick from here. You can pick pneumonia, you can pick diarrhea, measles, malaria, malnutrition, anemia, HIV, ear infection. Don't add anything apart from these. These are the ones that have been selected under IMCI. You are not going to pick other infections from elsewhere. So you're going to stick to these as main symptoms. So you call these diseases as main symptom in IMCI. So this is the marker. So this is what they ask you. Check out the questions under IMCI. So you already have 5 marks. Sometimes it's 10 marks, 2 each. Just listing. Okay? To say, okay, diarrhea, malaria, malnutrition, anemia. So you're not going to write anything else but these. Okay? So that's what we mean by main symptoms. Then this is what I was explaining when I said the principles. This is the management process. The principles is the management process. This is what I was explaining earlier, where I said that if you're at a rural health center, IMCI provides you with the guideline. So this is what you follow. Assess, classify, treat, cancel, and follow up. This is what you follow. And then I even said that it's very easy because under assessment, you only do two things. You only do physical assessment, okay, which is by you looking. And also, you're going to use the principles of questioning, which is asking, okay. So when you ask, meaning that you're trying to get history, we're dealing with history checking. You're trying to dig information from the client or the caretaker. So that's asking. Then look, listen, and feel. This is under physical. So just going to use your eyes, okay, and your hands just to elicit the problem. So that's under assessment. So after you have asked questions, you have looked, you have listened, meaning that you have done this history checking, you have done physical. That's under asking and look, listen. Mostly we just say ask and look. Then feel, listen. In some parts does not even apply. So, but mostly it's ask and look. So after you have come up with the problem, after asking and looking, you have come up with the problem the child is having without lab, okay, you're going to classify, meaning that you're going to say, okay, this problem the child is having, that's classification. This problem the child is having is going to be put under red, color red, meaning that this child at this rural health center, we cannot keep or treat, okay? We're going to refer, that's it there. We're going to do agent referral, okay? Because under red, meaning all conditions under red are called severe. If you check, red is severe. So meaning you have come up with a problem to say, this problem the child is having here is classified under red. Because you have asked questions, you have looked, you say, this child is very sick. Since this child is very sick, the child will be taken to the hospital urgently, meaning you refer to the hospital urgently. Or you can say, this child, after asking and looking, or you can, after examine, you're going to say, this child, the treatment or the problem is classified under yellow, and then I can treat at this clinic. So that's treat in clinic. You can say, I can treat this. Maybe it's a cough. You can say, this is just a cough. This is not severe pneumonia or pneumonia. Okay, it's not severe pneumonia. So meaning, since this is not severe pneumonia or very severe disease, I'm going to treat at the clinic. So that's under yellow. So again, after asking questions, you can say, after asking, I just discovered this is a cough. It's just a cough. So meaning I'm going to put it under green. And you're going to send them to do home treatment. So you can really see that this is simple. So under classification, it's you coming up with a diagnosis, or say it's you identifying the problem to say, this is the problem this person or this child is having. That's what you do. Okay, so that's simple under MCI. Then again, so the system goes just like that: assessment, classify, identify, treatment. So after you classify, what do? You give treatment. If it's malaria, what treatment do you give? You give Coartem. Okay. If it's a flu, what treatment do you give? Then again, if you go on and on to say, okay, maybe it's an ear infection, what treatment is available at your clinic that you give? So that's why we say treat. Okay. Then if they don't maybe need treatment or just need counseling, just go to counseling. Now if you treat, then they need counseling. For example, it's diarrhea. You can counsel the caretaker. Maybe say they are not keeping their place well, it's very dirty, and maybe they're not boiling drinking water. You can just counsel accordingly as well. Then you can also give them a follow-up date. Say, okay, come maybe for reassessment in 2 days time, in 3 days time, or whenever the child feels bad. So this is how we treat, or this is the flowchart under IMCI. Okay, so that's what we do. Then this is just in details of what we've been talking about, the principles of the management flowchart. So this is what we have here. So we'll go on and on to talk about what we do here. Okay, so that's the red, yellow, and green, meaning that's you trying to classify or trying to say, to determine the severity of the disease, to say, okay, this problem is too severe for me, let me send to the hospital. then yellow, you're saying, okay, I can treat at the hospital or clinic. Then that's green, you can send them home just on IEC. That's what you do. Okay, so that's what we've been talking about, all this stuff, just what I've explained. So let's look at now the case management for those children under 2 months to 5 years old. So let's try to see the case management for those from 2 to 5 years. So this is the management here. So those who are aged 2 months to 5 years. So for those who are 1 week to 2 months, okay, those between 1 week to 2 months, those have got their own treatment flowchart. But these who are aged 2 months to 5 years, they've got their own treatment flowchart, and this is what's common in your exams. So let's try to see what we can do. So let's skip these. Let's go to what we call general danger signs. So general danger signs here. When you look at the general danger signs, what do they mean? So we have established to say in IMCI, we have what we call main symptoms. So 2 things to be following all the time. So the main symptoms that we have already, we have looked at pneumonia. We have also looked at diarrhea, HIV, ear infection. Those are under what we are calling the main symptoms. And I said that they are written as common diseases affecting children. So those you have to master as main symptoms. Then another list of things that you master, those things are called general danger signs, because these are the questions that come in your exams. They will say list the 5 general danger signs. Just listing 5 general danger signs. So what we're going to do here, there are 4, but we'll split them. We split to make 5. So the general danger signs, these mean that when we say general danger signs, danger, you know what danger is, meaning that it's something that is not good. So whenever you see danger, send to the hospital. Whenever you see danger in a child, send to the hospital. We are at that clinic, you see a danger sign or general danger sign, send to the hospital. So these are the ones that help us send the child to the hospital. Whenever you see these, the following, whenever you see them, these, no matter what you do, your classification is severe disease, send to the hospital, referral, meaning that these will make you classify or place the child under color red, not yellow or green. Whenever you see general danger sign, meaning that when you classify or your diagnosis should be severe disease, meaning the child is very sick. I hope it's clear. The child is very sick. Whenever you see these, send to the hospital. So meaning that under your classifications, you're not going to classify under yellow or green. You classify under red, meaning send to the hospital. That's what it means here. So what are these general danger signs? Number 1, unable to drink or breastfeed. Just that. If you see a child who's not able to drink or breastfeed, send to the hospital. They've come with a problem to you, but then they're not able to drink or breastfeed, send to the hospital. Any one of these, send. Then you receive a child, then they are vomiting everything, sent to the hospital. Or you receive a child who is having convulsions, so you can put convulsions as alone. History of convulsions. Now this history of convulsions, don't get it wrong. History of convulsions when? Is it in this current illness or the previous illness? So you need to look at maybe say if it's the previous illness, meaning that you discover that maybe 2 months ago they were having an illness, or they had an illness 2 months ago, 3 months ago. It's not a general danger sign. What we mean by history of convulsions is history of convulsions in this current illness, meaning the child is sick now, then the child was convulsing at home because they are sick now. Not 2 months ago, but sick in this sickness. Have they convulsed? Yes. If they've convulsed, it's a general danger sign. Not 2 months ago or 3 months ago, that illness they had a long time ago, no. But this current illness. Or convulsing now, you have seen them convulsing yourself, they are convulsing now, meaning it's a general danger sign. Or they were convulsing at home in this current illness, meaning it's a general danger sign. So you can split this. You can make 2 points. History of convulsing in this current illness Another one can be convulsing or convulsions now. Then another one can be lethargy, meaning that the child is not really interested in what's happening. The child is weak and not interested. Another point that you can have under general danger sign, this can be alone, lethargy. Another one can be unconsciousness. The child is unconscious, so you can put it alone, or abnormally sleepy or difficult awakening. So these are the general danger signs that you have. If you can see these, you can list and you can hammer something here. And whenever you see this, like any of these from this list, please, your diagnosis is severe disease, meaning you're going to put them under red, not yellow. So you're going to see how we're going to be putting these red, yellow. I'm going to ask questions so that you see how we're going to be classifying. Okay, so let's just skip these. We see. So this is the list here. As you can see, there is red, yellow, green, those lists. So if you check out here, all these general danger signs, after asking, when you ask the child, is the child able to drink or breastfeed? So these are the general danger signs. They've been put here. So drinking, breastfeeding, vomiting, everything. Okay, convulsions. Then when you look at maybe lethargy and unconsciousness, or convulsions now. So these are the ones that you can see with your own eyes. When you look, meaning you're able to see with your own eyes, is a child convulsing now? Is a child unconscious or lethargic? Then asking, can ask the mother, is the child able to drink or breastfeed? Or is the child vomiting everything? Or did the child have convulsions at home in this illness? Then they'll say. So all these, any one of these, the classification is very severe disease. That's it. And then what do you do under treatment? Because you know that now the flowchart goes like 1, you assess, 2, you classify, 3, you treat. Okay. After treatment, what follows? Okay, you cancel, then follow up. That's all. That's the flowchart. So now under classification, we're looking at very severe disease. If they have any general danger sign plus any other infection, they can come with a cough, but if they're coughing and any of the general danger sign, meaning that is a severe disease. Okay, so don't forget that. Okay, so let's go. So what do you do if the child is vomiting, convulsion? If the convulsion is present, you need to give 0.5 milligrams per kg body weight diazepam. Then where do you give it? Per rectum. Meaning per rectum, you give using a small syringe. Don't put a needle, but a small syringe, then put in the rectum. Okay. Then you also treat for sugar. Check blood sugar. And if you check blood sugar, it's low, you need to give dextrose IV. Okay, if you can't cannulate, find means of putting something via the NG tube or rectally. Then give oxygen in the ambulance and refer if they need be. Okay, then if convulsions persist after 10 minutes, you need to repeat a dose of diazepam. So this is under referral when you're referring a severe disease, if there is anything like that. Okay. Then if severe disease, you know, what can happen is that it can change. For example, when you have dehydration, diarrhea as the main symptom, which is a common disease or main symptom, you're saying. Dehydration under plan C, where you're giving ringalactate. When you give ringalactate, you discover that this child, maybe the general danger sign has resolved, meaning you're not going to refer only in diarrhea. But these others, what we do is that if you discover that there's any general danger sign in any of them apart from diarrhea where the symptom has resolved, these just give the first dose of an appropriate antibiotic. This appropriate antibiotic in IMCI is amoxicillin. So give first dose of amoxicillin and refer. This is under IMCI. So that's what you do. Don't change your mind. Refer. Okay, that's what goes on. Then let's look at now this. We have agreed. So I think you now know what the main symptoms are. So let's start with the main symptoms. We see what's inside the main symptoms. So since you know the main symptoms, let's see now what are these main symptoms. Okay. So the main symptoms that we have here, what are they? So the main symptom number 1 is cough. Okay. So let's see. Meaning that when you are seated in that clinic, the child has come in with a cough and difficulty breathing. So meaning that the main symptom here is cough. The child has just come in with a cough at your hospital. So you need now to assess this main symptom, because this is a common condition that affects children. So it's called main symptom. So main symptom, cough. Let's try to see what is under cough. Okay, so cough, other things that you need to check as you are assessing or classifying are fast breathing, chest indrawing, and stridor. These are you going to ask the mother. These you look under your assessment, you look before you place the child under the classification. Okay, so these can help you classify the child under red, yellow, or green. Okay, that's what happens, plus the general danger sign. So in each of these you need to consider the general danger sign. So let's see. So under cough, okay, what are you going to do? So when you have this question in your exam, you're not going to write in a table format. You're going to write in this format, in a narrative format. You're going to, more like you're asking the mother, you're talking to the mother. That's how it should be. And you are giving rationale to every point or what you do. Okay, so you're not going to write a table, but you're going to be writing like an essay in a narrative format, the way these things are. But you're not going to, the table is just there to help you understand. The red, green, yellow thing, it's just there for you to understand, but write in a narrative form like this. That's what happens. So with this, let's see. If you are doing the asking, okay, if you ask, okay, you're going to ask. The first thing you do, does the child have a cough? The first thing that's the thing you ask. Then the mother will say, yes, the child has a cough. Then the next question, in all the things that you're going to do, all the main symptoms, it will be for how long? Then they'll tell you, the mother will say 3 days or 5 days. See, so this is just the ask you need to do. So you're going to say, I will ask if the child has a cough. And the mother has confirmed, yes, the child has a cough. You're conversating. Then I will ask for how long the child has had a cough. The mother's given to say, you check also in the stem of the question. Maybe they will give 5 days or 3 days. Yes, the mother has confirmed to say the child has had a cough for 3 days. Then you go on to the next question, which is look, listen, and feel. So when you look, what are you going to look for? They've given you those 3 things which are above. Let me show you these things: fast breathing, chest indrawing, and stridor. So when you ask or look, when you look, you're going to look for those and feel. So you're going to look for the rising and falling of the chest, which is going to say that you're going to count the breaths in 1 minute. So this is just look, meaning that you are looking. Okay. Then also look for chest indrawing. You're using your eyes as well. Does the child have chest indrawing? I'll show you in an image where the child is having chest indrawing, because you're dealing with a cough. Then also look and listen for a stridor. A stridor is noise. Okay. So this child is calm. You're trying to listen, do the sounds while breathing. Is it producing a wheeze or a stridor? Okay, so you're going to see this. Okay, so if the child has a wheeze, fast breathing, or chest indrawing, what do? You're going to know how you're going to classify. We'll show you how you classify, how you come up with a diagnosis. So these are just some medications that you give. Bronchodilators such as salbutamol, okay, a rapid acting salbutamol, okay, inhaler, or salbutamol inhaler or nebulizer. That's what you give. Then this is just a guide to say that if a child is having fast breathing, what do we regard as fast breathing? So for children 2 months up to 12 months, okay, in 1 minute, fast breathing should be 50 breaths per minute. So you discover that when you're answering questions, you'll find that they'll give you the respiratory rate. So this is the respiratory rate they give. If they mention the age, 2 months to 12 months, which is 1 year, 50 breaths, just above 50 breaths, that's what we regard as fast breathing, 50 breaths per minute or more. Then if we say 12 months, which is 1 year to 5 years, so those who are 40 breaths per minute or more are fast breathing. That's 12, because you are still looking at a child who's grown up, who's grown now from 1 year to 5 months. Those 2 months to 1 year is 50 breaths or more. Those 1 year to 5 months is 40 breaths per minute or more. So this is just a guide. Then we're going to answer the question. We're going to say we're going to answer. Then this is a chest in drawing, as you can see there. All this, or chest retractions or chest in drawing, where I've put the red marks, that's chest in drawing, because the chest is going inside there. Chest retractions or chest in drawing. So that's what we have there. Okay, then let's see. So the child came in with a cough. Then during your assessment, meaning you're going to follow that process, management process, where you're going to say assessment, classification, after classification, treatment, counseling, and follow-up. Those 5 things, those are the ones we're using. Now we're dealing with the main symptom cough. From all those common conditions or the main symptoms, we're dealing with the main symptom cough. So remember also the general danger signs. They have to come into play. For on every main symptom, you have to consider the general danger sign. So here, if you check in red, they've put to say any general danger sign or chest in drawing or stridor. A child who's having any general danger sign and has come to you with a cough, they're just coughing, but they're having any general danger sign. For example, convulsions, or vomiting everything, or unable to feed, or unconsciousness, but they came in with a cough. It's meaning that they qualify to be considered to have severe pneumonia or very severe disease, because they are coughing, but they have any general danger sign, meaning that you classify them under red. So those, when you classify them, what should be your treatment? Your treatment has to be, you give the first dose of appropriate antibiotic, which is amoxicillin. We agreed. Amoxicillin should be 25 to 50 milligrams per kg body weight, and then the next thing is you refer urgently to the hospital. That's all. So even in an essay, you're going to write not in the boxes like this. In narrative form, more like an essay, writing not in the boxes. You should be able to put assessment. You write what you are going to assess for. After you finish the assessment, you go to the next one, which is classification. You classify. You say, okay, I've classified a child, or this child, under severe pneumonia or very severe disease, because the child has a general danger sign, or because the child has chest in drawing or a stridor, that's under cough, has a cough and has a general danger sign. That's why I've classified the child under very severe disease. You give a rationale. Then you go to the next heading, you write treatment. Under treatment, you write or first dose of appropriate antibiotic. We are going to say amoxicillin, 25 to 50 milligrams per kg body weight TDS. Then another point should be, I will refer the child urgently to the hospital because the child has a severe classification or very severe disease. That's what you do, even when writing. So some essays will just end there. They'll say 15 marks IMCI. They'll just give you that under 15 marks. Okay, so you'll be able to write that. Then another one that is there, the child will come with a cough. But then, during your assessment, in your assessment, you discover that the child has come with a cough but does not have any general danger sign. Even in your essay, you're going to say assessment. Under assessment, you're going to say the child I've assessed for. You list all those general danger signs. You're going to write all those general danger signs, meaning that you're assessing for all those general danger signs. You say the child does not have any of these general danger signs, and then does not have any chest in drawing, no stridor, but has fast breathing. So fast breathing, go to the ranges I gave you, like 2 months to 1 year, which is 50 breaths per minute or more. That's fast breathing. Then those who are 1 year to 5 years, remember 40 or more breaths per minute. That's fast breathing. So just look at in the stem of the question and see, is there fast breathing? If there is fast breathing, but the child is just coughing and fast breathing, your diagnosis should be pneumonia. So under diagnosis, that's what we say classification. So you're going to write another heading to say classification. So that heading which you have classification, you write classification as a heading, meaning in your mind you know that this is diagnosis. So you're going to say that I have put this child under maybe say yellow, if you want to mention the color, you mentioned to say I've classified the child to have pneumonia or yellow because the child is not having any general danger sign, not having chest indrawing, not having a stridor. Meaning that the examiner is convinced to say that you have just said the child is having pneumonia because the child is not having any general danger sign, or those in red. The child is having pneumonia because the child is just having a cough and fast breathing. That's why you have classified your child under pneumonia, meaning that's your diagnosis. Then what should be the next heading? Treatment. When you write treatment as your next heading, you're going to give amoxil for 5 days. That's what you give. Okay? Then plus these others you're going to put. Then after that, this child, because this child is going home, you're going to provide counseling. So counseling is provided because the child is going home. Then after that, looking at the process, the management process, from counseling, another heading which should be there is follow-up. Follow-up meaning you're going to tell them that they should be able to come back after 3 days for review so that they are reassessed. So that's how you handle these. Then in green, if during your assessment, you do assessment, after assessment, you discover that the child has come in with a cough, but has no any signs of pneumonia, meaning signs of pneumonia should be fast breathing, a cough and fast breathing, and no general danger sign, or no signs of severe disease, which are those like chest indrawing, a stridor, and any general danger sign, meaning that you're going to say that this child has, under classification, the heading should be, the child has a cough or a cold. That's under classification. So assessment is this part, the first part where you're saying no signs of pneumonia or signs of very severe disease. Then the next heading should be no cough. The child has got a cough or a cold. And what should be your treatment? Your treatment should be just maybe say home remedies or just some cough syrup, then plus these other things. Then you need also to write another heading which should be counseling. You need to counsel the mother how to keep the child or to stay away from the cold, how to make these soothing remedies like mixing ginger and lemon depending on the age of the child. Then the last one should be follow-up. Need to give them a review date when they should come. So follow-up, under follow-up, the heading follow-up, you put to say they should be able to come after 3 days for reassessment. So that's what you do. So that's what you write under cough. So this is the main symptom, cough. That's what we have here. So even here, the questions will come like this. Like say for example, they ask you, Omar is 18 months old. So this one is 1 year 6, you even know. Then weighs 11.5 kg, his temperature is 37.5. His mother brought him to the health center because he has a cough. This is how the stem of the question will come. He has a cough. So you start thinking, okay, where am I going to classify this one? So you start assessing, okay, as they tell you. Okay. Then the health worker counted the number of breaths in 1 minute and were 40. So look at 1 year 6 and the breaths are 40. Okay. Is this okay? Yes, it is. There is no chest indrawing and no stridor. What would be Omar's classification for cough? So this is how questions come, even in your exam. So you need to write even just a brief essay, just looking at those, the flowchart, which is assessment, classification, treatment, okay, counseling, and follow-up. So in this case, you need to underline 18 months old, which is 1 year 6. So fast breathing for a child who's 1 year 6 should be how much? So this one at least 40 or more. Okay. At least if you get back to this, okay, those who are 1 year to 5 years, 40 breaths or more is fast breathing. Those who are 2 months or 2 months to 12 months, which is 1 year, 50 breaths or more is fast breathing. So that's what you should have in mind. So this one has 40, okay, and is 1 year 6. So meaning that this child, under your assessment, you're going to assess, is there any general danger sign? They've told you in the stem of the question there is no general danger sign. Then apart from having no general danger sign, is there a stridor? No chest indrawing. So meaning that your classification has already moved away from severe classification of very severe pneumonia. Okay, so this should not be C, which is severe pneumonia, because they've told you no stridor, no chest indrawing, no severe, maybe say no danger sign. So you have assessed. Then under your classification, you are looking at 18 months and 40 breaths, meaning this is fast breathing. So when you come up with this child is 18 months, which is 1 year 6, and they are breathing at 40. We're saying this is fast breathing, like in the chart that I showed you. So since this is fast breathing, your classification should be B, which is pneumonia. So that's assessment of assessed, then classification is pneumonia. Why have you classified under pneumonia? Because the child has fast breathing and has a cough. So he came in with a cough and has fast breathing. That's why I've classified under pneumonia. So if the child did not have fast breathing and nothing else like this, and no general danger sign, no stridor, no chest indrawing, your classification would have been a cough. Okay, so let's look at another one, which is this one here. Sow, a 9 months old. So let's try to see about Sow. Okay, Sow is 9 months old and has a cough. Came in with a main symptom cough. So it's a main symptom or common condition that affects children. And then 9 months, they are breathing at 45. Are they 1 year yet? That's a question in your mind. No, they are not 1 year. So 45 is okay. Then no chest indrawing, no stridor, meaning they've ruled out for you the danger signs, and then no general danger sign. But then they have this, which is they have a cough. No general danger sign, no chest indrawing, no stridor. And then what would be that for you? So this one for Saul should be a cough or cold, because they're just coughing. There's no fast breathing, no chest indrawing, no stridor. So this is what you do. So 45 breaths for a 9 months is okay, because you're saying 1 year, sorry, that's 1 month to at least 1 year. We're talking about something more than 50 breaths per minute. Then those who are 1 year to 5 years, we're saying that 40 breaths or more, that's fast breathing. So here, there is no fast breathing and all that, so it's called cough or cold. Then let's look at Linus, 3 months old. 3 months old has come in, and you counted, should be counted, not you could. You counted 65 breaths in 1 minute. And when he breathes in, he had convulsions. So in the stem of the question, they'll put for you convulsions during this current illness. Have you seen? So that's why I was saying the general danger sign should be during this current illness. So they have convulsions. So what is convulsions for you? Convulsion is coming from the 5 or the list of general danger signs, if you check out. So if it's coming from the list of general danger sign and this child has a general danger sign, what should be? So this is your assessment. So in your assessment, you have asked and you discovered that the child has a general danger sign. After asking, you are writing, meaning you are writing it as an essay. You write all these. The child has a general danger sign, convulsions now, but is not vomiting. You have asked about that, not vomiting everything. Okay, meaning not even unconscious, not lethargic. So you ask all those, not maybe sleeping abnormally. So you've asked all those general danger signs, and after asking all those general danger signs, you discover that the child is convulsing under this current illness and has 65 breaths per minute. Now 65 breaths per minute in a 3 months old, it's fast breathing already. Now, should it be pneumonia? No, because there is a general danger sign. So any general danger sign goes to very severe disease or very severe pneumonia, because the child is coughing and has convulsions. So it goes to severe because there is a general danger sign. So that's the thing. So that's the understanding. I'm sure you've got this one. Then Jojo, a 3 months old or 3 years old. So look at 3 years. Then has, you count 56 breaths. So we're saying that for those who are 1 year to 5 years, 40 breaths or more is fast breathing. Now they have 56. What do you think about this one? Okay, in 1 minute. But they have no chest indrawing, no stridor. So if they had chest indrawing or stridor, we're saying that these were going to be severe disease or severe classification or very severe pneumonia. Now no chest indrawing, no stridor. So, but they just have fast breathing, which is 56 breaths per minute. So meaning that your classification should be they have got a cough and fast breathing, your classification is pneumonia. So I'm sure you have got how we come up with these things. So that's how we come up with the classification. So after you classify, what do? First of all, you are assessing by asking all these questions and looking for these things here. After you do assessment by asking and looking, you go to classification. After this, the classification is the way you come up with the diagnosis. That's classification. After you come up with a diagnosis or classification, you go to treatment. Treatment to give medicine. So in this case, we've said that for those who have severe disease or severe pneumonia, you give first dose of appropriate antibiotic, which is amoxil or amoxicillin, then refer. For those with just pneumonia, you give the antibiotic, but you also give other treatment and then send home. Okay, but what will follow again after treatment will be counseling. After counseling, then follow-up date, meaning give a review date. So that's what you do. So this is the flowchart. Okay, so that's the end of the first main symptom. Then